Have you ever wondered why only 2% of Americans make it to 90, yet those who do share one secret weapon? They've dodged 4 sneaky health threats that silently sabotage longevity? Imagine unlocking the power to sidestep type 2 diabetes, heart disease, cancer, and dementia with simple, everyday habits that don't require diets, gyms, or doctor's visits every week. In this video, I'll break down exactly what these interconnected killers are, why they're easier to prevent than you think, and the game-changing steps anyone can start today to add vibrant years to your life, no matter your age. Stick around until the end, because I'll reveal the one ripple effect habit that shields you from all 4 at once, backed by studies showing up to 80% risk reduction, and share a real story of a 92-year-old who's thriving proof it works. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like this video. You can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you don't like it, comment number 0 to let me know, so I can make a better video for you. Now let's get started. 1. Type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is a pervasive health challenge, affecting more than 1 in 3 older Americans over the age of 65, according to the latest data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC. This means that roughly 34% of seniors are grappling with this condition, which not only disrupts daily life but also significantly shortens lifespan and quality of years. But here's the surprising and empowering truth. It's one of the most preventable chronic conditions when it comes to stopping people from reaching their 90s or beyond. With proactive steps, many cases can be delayed or entirely avoided, even if you're already in your later years. What makes type 2 diabetes particularly insidious and dangerous is its stealthy progression. It can silently damage your body for years, sometimes decades, without showing any obvious symptoms. You might feel perfectly fine, going about your routine, unaware that elevated blood sugar is quietly eroding your health from the inside out. Early signs, when they do appear, can be subtle: increased thirst, frequent urination, unexplained fatigue, or slow-healing wounds. By the time these emerge, the damage might already include weakened vision, nerve pain in the extremities, like tingling feet, or kidney strain. The good news? Simple, sustainable daily habits can prevent or delay the onset of diabetes, no matter your age, genetic predispositions, or current fitness level. Prevention isn't about overhauling your life overnight. It's about consistent, gentle shifts that add up over time. To truly understand what happens with type 2 diabetes, let's break it down step by step. Your body is a finely tuned machine designed to convert the food you eat into usable energy. When you consume carbohydrates, from bread, fruits, or veggies, they break down into glucose, a type of sugar, that enters your bloodstream. Normally, your pancreas responds by releasing insulin, a hormone that acts like a key, unlocking your cells so they can absorb this glucose for fuel. In type 2 diabetes, however, this process falters. Cells become resistant to insulin's effects, a condition called insulin resistance. And over time, the pancreas can't produce enough insulin to compensate. The result? Glucose builds up in your blood, creating a toxic environment. This chronic high blood sugar, known as hyperglycemia, wreaks havoc over time. It acts like sandpaper on your blood vessels, making them stiff and narrow, which impairs circulation to vital organs. Nerves get damaged, leading to neuropathy that can cause pain or numbness. Your eyes, kidneys, and heart are especially vulnerable. Diabetes is a leading cause of blindness, kidney failure, and cardiovascular events. But the cycle doesn't stop there. Poor blood sugar control can lead to weight gain, further fueling insulin resistance, creating a vicious loop. The encouraging reality is that preventing diabetes doesn't require extreme measures like crash diets, grueling gym sessions, or expensive supplements. Science backs this up. Lifestyle interventions are more effective than medications for many at-risk individuals. Let's dive deeper into what really works, drawing from evidence-based strategies. Smart food choices. Building a balanced plate for steady blood sugar. Diet is the cornerstone of diabetes prevention, and the beauty is that it doesn't demand fancy diets, calorie counting, or eliminating your favorite foods. The key is balance and variety, which help maintain steady blood sugar levels without the spikes and crashes that strain your system. Start with the simple plate method, recommended by the American Diabetes Association. Fill half your plate with non-starchy vegetables in a rainbow of colors. Think vibrant greens like spinach and broccoli, reds from tomatoes and bell peppers, and oranges from carrots and squash. These are low in carbs but packed with fiber, vitamins, and antioxidants that slow sugar absorption and reduce inflammation. Next, dedicate a quarter of your plate to lean proteins. Grilled chicken breast, baked fish like salmon, rich in heart-protective omega-3s, tofu, eggs, or legumes such as lentils and chickpeas. Proteins help you feel full longer and stabilize blood sugar by slowing digestion. The final quarter goes to complex carbohydrates, whole grains like quinoa, brown rice, or barley, or starchy veggies like sweet potatoes and corn. These provide sustained energy without the rapid glucose surge from refined carbs. For example, swap white bread for whole grain toast topped with avocado and a poached egg for breakfast. It's satisfying, nutrient-dense, and blood sugar-friendly. A critical pitfall to avoid? Hidden sugars lurk in everyday drinks and foods. Those healthy fruit juices, flavored yogurts, sweetened coffee lattes, and even seemingly innocent breakfast cereals can spike your blood sugar as dramatically as a candy bar, thanks to added sugars like high-fructose corn syrup. Check labels. Aim for less than 5 grams of added sugar per serving. Instead, hydrate with infused water, lemon slices, cucumber, or fresh mint, herbal teas, or black coffee with a dash of unsweetened almond milk. For snacks, reach for a handful of almonds, about 1 ounce, paired with apple slices, a small wedge of cheese, or Greek yogurt with berries. These choices not only curb cravings but also deliver healthy fats and proteins that blunt sugar rises. Over weeks, this approach can improve insulin sensitivity by up to 30%, according to studies from the Diabetes Prevention Program. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Movement and activity. The gentle power of daily motion. Exercise is another powerhouse for prevention, but forget the myth of needing hour-long HIIT sessions or marathons. The goal is consistent, enjoyable movement that gets your muscles using glucose efficiently, mimicking insulin's role and lowering blood sugar naturally. Aim for at least 150 minutes of moderate activity per week, broken into bite-sized pieces. A brisk 15-minute walk after meals is a game-changer. It can drop post-meal blood sugar by 20 to 30 mg/dl, according to research from the Joslin Diabetes Center. No gym required. Stroll around the block while listening to a podcast, dance to your favorite tunes in the living room, tend to a backyard garden, weeding and planting burn calories while boosting mood via endorphins, or tackle light housework like vacuuming or dusting. If mobility is a concern, seated exercises count too. Leg lifts, arm circles, or resistance band work. The magic happens because physical activity enhances glucose uptake in muscles for hours afterward, reducing overall daily blood sugar exposure. Bonus: it builds muscle mass, which naturally improves metabolism and insulin function as we age. Essential habits. The unsung heroes of blood sugar control. Beyond diet and movement, a web of daily habits forms your strongest defense. Regular blood sugar monitoring is non-negotiable for early detection. Many pharmacies offer affordable home glucometers and annual A1C tests, which measure average blood sugar over 2 to 3 months. At your doctor's office can spot prediabetes before it advances. An A1C under 5.7% is ideal. 5.7 to 6.4% signals prediabetes, a wake-up call for action. Hydration is a simple yet potent ally. Dehydration concentrates blood sugar, so sip at least 8 glasses of water daily, more if active. Quality sleep, 7 to 9 hours, regulates hormones like cortisol that influence insulin. Poor sleep can raise diabetes risk by 9% per hour short, per sleep studies. Stress management is equally vital. Chronic worry triggers adrenaline surges that spike glucose. Incorporate 5 minutes of deep breathing, inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 4, or progressive muscle relaxation daily. Finally, eat at consistent intervals. 3 balanced meals plus 1 or 2 small snacks prevent blood sugar roller coasters from skipped or oversized portions. Recent landmark studies, including a 2024 meta-analysis in the Lancet Diabetes and Endocrinology, affirmed that these multifaceted lifestyle changes can slash type 2 diabetes risk by over 70% in high-risk groups, with even greater benefits for older adults. The Diabetes Prevention Program's long-term follow-up showed participants sustaining modest weight loss, 5 to 7% of body weight, through diet and activity, with a delayed onset by an average of 4 years. Start small to build momentum. This week, commit to one tweak, like swapping your mid-afternoon soda for sparkling water with lime or adding a 10-minute post-dinner stroll. These incremental steps, practiced consistently, not only shield you from diabetes but fortify your body against aging's toll, enhancing energy, cognition, and vitality. Remember, preventing diabetes isn't a quest for perfection. It's about progress and compassion for yourself. Slip-ups happen. The key is returning to your habits with kindness. These choices ripple outward, boosting immunity, joint health, and mental clarity. High blood sugar shadow extends beyond diabetes itself. It corrodes blood vessels, inflaming arteries, and burdening your heart. This insidious link explains why diabetes doubles heart disease risk. Managing glucose is your frontline strategy for cardiovascular resilience, setting the stage for holistic longevity. 2. Heart disease. Heart disease remains the leading cause of death in America, claiming one life every 36 seconds and accounting for nearly 1 in 5 fatalities, as reported by the American Heart Association's 2025 Heart Disease and Stroke Statistics Update. With over 697,000 deaths in 2024 alone, it's a stark reminder of vulnerability. But here's the profoundly encouraging news. Up to 80% of heart disease cases, and many strokes, could be prevented through targeted lifestyle changes, according to the World Health Organization and CDC guidelines. This isn't hyperbole. It's grounded in decades of research showing that modifiable factors like diet, activity, and stress control hold the power to rewrite your cardiac destiny. Protecting your heart transcends mere survival. It's about preserving the vibrancy of your golden years. Imagine hiking with grandkids, traveling without fatigue, or simply savoring a book in quiet independence. Heart disease robs these joys by eroding stamina and autonomy, but prevention empowers you to claim them fully. To grasp heart disease, envision your cardiovascular system as a vast highway network. Your heart, the tireless pump, contracts about 100,000 times daily to propel oxygen-rich blood through 60,000 miles of vessels, nourishing every cell. Over time, however, plaque, built from cholesterol, fats, calcium, and inflammatory debris, accumulates in artery walls, a process called atherosclerosis. This narrows the roads, restricting flow and forcing your heart to pump harder, spiking pressure. Early repercussions include stable angina, chest discomfort from exertion, but progression can culminate in acute events. A plaque rupture triggers a clot, blocking flow entirely and causing a heart attack, myocardial infarction, where heart muscle starves and scars. Or, weakened pumping leads to congestive heart failure, fluid buildup, and breathlessness. The buildup is gradual, often symptomless for years, offering a generous window for intervention. Prime culprits: high blood pressure, hypertension, affecting nearly half of U.S. adults, silently strains vessels like a kinked hose. Elevated cholesterol, particularly LDL, bad, levels, fuels plaque formation, while low HDL, good, fails to clear it. Smoking, obesity, and uncontrolled diabetes accelerate the damage. Yet, these are largely reversible. Lifestyle tweaks can normalize blood pressure in 30 to 50% of cases and lower LDL by 10 to 20%, per clinical trials. Let's unpack proven strategies to safeguard your heart, emphasizing accessibility over austerity. Salt-savvy and flavorful eating, taming the sodium trap. Excess sodium is a stealthy saboteur. Most Americans ingest 3,400 milligrams daily, double the recommended 1,500 to 2,300 milligrams, hidden in processed fare like deli meats, frozen dinners, canned soups, and fast food staples. It retains fluid, elevating blood pressure and vessel strain. Counter this by reading labels, aim for under 140 milligrams per serving, and cooking from scratch. Flavor alternatives abound: zesty garlic, rosemary, and thyme for meats, cumin and paprika for veggies, fresh basil or cilantro in salads. Your palate adapts in 2 to 4 weeks, making foods taste brighter without salt. A 2023 InterSalt study follow-up linked a 1,000 milligrams daily reduction to a 5 to 10 millimeters of mercury blood pressure drop, slashing stroke risk by 14%. Nourishing your arteries. A palette of protective foods. Heart-healthy eating celebrates abundance. Prioritize the Mediterranean-style pattern, rich in anti-inflammatory whole foods. Load up on fruits and veggies, berries, leafy greens, citrus, for polyphenol that combat oxidative stress in vessels. Fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, twice weekly, delivers omega-3s, reducing triglycerides and irregular rhythms by 25 to 30%, as shown in the REDUCE-IT trial. Whole grains, oats, farro, and legumes bind cholesterol in the gut, excreting it via fiber. Nuts, walnuts, pistachios, a handful daily, and olive oil provide monounsaturated fats that help to flexibilize arteries. Indulge sparingly in 70% plus dark chocolate or red wine, 1 glass, for flavonoids. Sample meal: grilled salmon with quinoa, steamed broccoli drizzled in olive oil, and a side salad. This isn't deprivation, it's delicious defense. Movement as medicine. Strengthening the pump. Inactivity rivals smoking as a risk factor, but movement is your antidote. Moderate aerobic exercise fortifies the heart muscle, lowers resting pressure by 5 to 8 millimeters of mercury, and boosts HDL. The gold standard: 150 minutes weekly of brisk walking, 3 to 4 miles per hour. Where talking is possible but singing isn't. Break it into 10-minute bouts if needed. Park farther, take stairs, or pace during calls. Build gradually, from couch to 5-minute loops, scaling to 30 minutes most days. Alternatives shine for variety. Swimming eases joints, cycling builds endurance, and Tai Chi melds motion with mindfulness. A 2024 JAMA meta-analysis found consistent walkers cut heart event risk by 20 to 30%, with benefits accruing even from midlife starts. Stress and sleep. The emotional and restorative pillars. Chronic stress floods your system with cortisol and adrenaline, constricting vessels and fostering plaque. It indirectly drives overeating or smoking as coping mechanisms. Combat it proactively. Dedicate 10 minutes daily to mindfulness apps, journaling gratitudes, or laughter-filled calls with loved ones. Yoga or forest bathing, gentle walks in nature, lowers inflammation markers by 15 to 20%. Sleep's restorative role is profound. It allows blood pressure to dip 10 to 20% nocturnally, easing cardiac workload. Target 7 to 9 hours in a sanctuary. Cool, 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit. Dark, screen-free hour pre-bed. If insomnia strikes, cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, CBTI, outperforms pills, improving sleep efficiency by 50%. Vigilance through checkups. Numbers that narrate your story. Routine screenings are your early alert system. Annual blood pressure, target 120/80 mmHg. Lipid panels, LDL less than 100 milligrams per deciliter, HDL greater than 60, and fasting glucose. ECGs or stress tests for symptoms. Knowledge empowers. Track trends via apps or journals. Emerging 2025 research from the Framingham Heart Study Offspring cohort reveals that stacking 3 habits, e.g., diet, exercise, and no smoking, halves lifetime risk, with small shifts yielding outsized gains. Begin modestly. Add a veggie serving daily or a sunset walk. Your heart, that rhythmic metronome of existence, merits such stewardship, not just for endurance, but for the poetry of unlived tomorrows. It beats 100,000 times daily, an unheralded symphony sustaining breath, thought, and touch. Yet it's emblematic of life's exquisite fragility and boundless resilience. Nurturing it mirrors our reverence for existence. Each herb-sprinkled meal, each stride under stars, each exhaled worry is an alchemical investment. It conjures futures woven with loved ones' laughter, unhurried sunsets, and the quiet thrill of another dawn. In honoring your heart, you affirm the irreplaceable, life's tender, tenacious pulse. Third, cancer. Cancer continues to loom large as one of the most pressing health challenges for aging Americans, with over 1.9 million new cases diagnosed annually in the United States alone, according to the American Cancer Society's most recent projections for 2025. Yet, amid these sobering statistics, there's a beacon of hope. Research from the World Health Organization and major cancer institutes indicates that up to 40% of all cancer cases, and potentially more for certain types like colorectal and lung cancer, can be prevented through proactive lifestyle choices and early interventions. This isn't just wishful thinking. It's backed by decades of epidemiological studies showing clear links between modifiable behaviors and reduced incidence rates. As we navigate the aging process, our bodies undergo subtle but profound shifts that heighten vulnerability. Cellular repair mechanisms, such as DNA damage response pathways involving proteins like p53, naturally decelerate after age 50, partly due to accumulated oxidative stress and telomere shortening. This slowdown means that when genetic mutations occur, from environmental exposures or random errors during cell division, damaged cells are less likely to be corrected or undergo apoptosis, programmed cell death. Instead, they can proliferate unchecked, forming tumors. The result? A higher propensity for malignancies that not only affect quality of life but can also cascade into other health complications, like cardiovascular strain from treatments or emotional tolls on families. The silver lining is that we hold more control than we often realize. By targeting shared risk factors, we can fortify our defenses against the most prevalent cancers in older adults. Colorectal, expected to account for about 153,000 cases in 2025. Breast, around 310,000. Prostate, nearly 300,000. Lung, over 234,000. And skin, melanoma specifically, with about 100,000 diagnoses. These aren't isolated threats. Many overlap in their origins. Think chronic inflammation, hormonal imbalances, or carcinogen exposure, and thus respond to overlapping prevention tactics. Implementing these strategies isn't about overhauling your life overnight. It's about layering in evidence-based habits that compound over time, potentially adding years of vitality. At the forefront of prevention is regular screening, a cornerstone that has dramatically improved survival rates. For instance, the 5-year survival rate for colorectal cancer jumps from under 15% when diagnosed at a distant stage to over 90% if caught localized, largely thanks to tools like colonoscopy, which not just detect but actively prevent the disease by snaring and removing precancerous polyps during the procedure. Guidelines from the U.S. Preventive Services Task Force recommend starting colonoscopies at age 45 for average-risk individuals, with follow-ups every 10 years, or more frequently if family history or symptoms like blood and stool arise. Similarly, mammograms for women aged 50 to 74 can identify breast lumps up to 2 years before they're palpable, slashing mortality by 20 to 40% in clinical trials. For prostate cancer, the PSA blood test combined with digital rectal exams offers men over 50 a window into early detection, though discussions with your doctor are key to balancing benefits against overdiagnosis risks. Skin checks, whether self-exams or dermatologist visits, are vital for melanoma. The ABCDE rule, asymmetry, border irregularity, color variation, diameter over 6 mm, evolving changes, empowers you to spot suspicious moles early, when excision is curative in over 99% of cases. Tailor your screening schedule to personal risk factors, genetics, ethnicity, or prior exposures. And remember, adherence alone can prevent thousands of advanced diagnoses yearly. Diet emerges as a potent, everyday ally in this fight, influencing cancer risk through anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects. A plant-forward eating pattern, exemplified by the Mediterranean diet, floods your system with phytonutrients like flavonoids in berries and sulforaphane in broccoli, which neutralize free radicals and inhibit tumor-promoting enzymes. The Nurses' Health Study, tracking over 120,000 women for decades, found that those consuming 5 or more servings of fruits and vegetables daily had a 20 to 30% lower risk of digestive and respiratory cancers. Conversely, red and processed meats, laden with heme iron and nitrates, correlate with up to a 17% higher colorectal cancer risk per 50 g daily serving, per International Agency for Research on Cancer Classifications. Swap them out for omega-3 rich salmon, which may curb prostate cancer progression, lean poultry, lentils, or quinoa. Fiber from whole grains like oats ferries toxins out of the colon, while fermented foods like yogurt bolster gut microbiomes that regulate immune surveillance against aberrant cells. Hydration matters too. Aim for 8 to 10 glasses of water daily to dilute potential carcinogens. Pro tip: start small, like adding a rainbow salad to lunch, and track how it energizes you. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Physical activity isn't just for the heart. It's a multifaceted shield against oncogenesis. Exercise modulates hormones like insulin and estrogen, curbs chronic inflammation via reduced cytokine levels, and enhances natural killer cell activity for immune patrols. The American College of Sports Medicine endorses 150 minutes of moderate aerobic activity weekly for adults over 65, equating to a 30-minute brisk walk 5 days a week, enough to lower colon cancer risk by 24% and breast cancer risk by 12%, per meta-analyses. Beyond cardio, incorporate resistance training twice weekly, think light weights or bodyweight squats, to preserve muscle mass, which indirectly supports metabolic health. Gardening counts as both movement and mindfulness, while swimming eases joint stress for those with arthritis. The beauty. Consistency trumps intensity. Even breaking it into 10-minute bursts yields benefits, and pairing it with social elements, like a walking club, doubles the adherence rate. Sun protection remains a non-negotiable for skin cancer, the most common malignancy in the U.S., with non-melanoma types affecting over 5 million people yearly. Ultraviolet rays trigger DNA helix breaks in keratinocytes, and cumulative exposure amplifies this over decades. Slather on broad-spectrum SPF 30+ sunscreen, reapplying every 2 hours. Don wide-brimmed hats and UPF clothing, and dodge peak rays, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Tanning beds? Avoid them. They're as risky as a pack-a-day smoking habit for melanoma. For those with fair skin or a history of sunburns, self-tanning lotions offer a safer glow. The payoff: a 50% reduction in melanoma risk with diligent habits. And yes, it's reversible. Even after years of exposure, halting damage allows epidermal repair. Weight management ties into nearly every strategy, as adipose tissue secretes adipokines like leptin that fuel angiogenesis, tumor blood supply, and estrogens linked to breast and endometrial cancers. The National Cancer Institute estimates that 4 to 8% of U.S. cancers stem from overweight/obesity. Shedding 5 to 10% of body weight, e.g., 10 to 20 pounds for a 200-pound person, via calorie balance can drop postmenopausal breast cancer risk by 12 to 25%. Focus on sustainable swaps, portion control with smaller plates, mindful eating to savor flavors, and tracking via apps if it motivates without obsessing. Vigilance for bodily signals empowers early action. Beyond the classics, unintentional 10+ pound loss, rectal bleeding, nipple discharge, hoarseness, or dysphagia. Watch for night sweats, persistent indigestion, or enlarging lymph nodes. Apps like symptom journals can flag patterns, prompting timely consults. Remember, 70% of cancers are symptomatic at diagnosis, but catching them at stage I boosts survival across the board. Quitting smoking delivers the fastest ROI. Lung cancer risk halves within 10 years of cessation, per CDC data, with vascular repairs starting in weeks. Vaping. It's not harmless. Nicotine and flavor ants pose emerging risks. Leverage nicotine patches, bupropion, or apps like Quit Now for tailored support. Group counseling boosts success by 50%. On alcohol, moderation is key. Even light drinking elevates breast cancer risk by 7 to 10% per daily drink, while heavier intake hits the liver and esophagus harder. The dietary guidelines cap it at 1 for women and 2 for men daily, but 0 is safest. If red wine tempts, opt for dealcoholized versions to capture resveratrol's perc sans ethanol. Ultimately, cancer prevention thrives on consistency over perfection. Track progress with a habit journal, celebrate milestones, like a smoke-free month, and enlist accountability partners. This isn't mere survival, it's reclaiming agency. As one oncologist aptly notes, our bodies are wired for resilience. By nurturing that innate wisdom through deliberate choices, we tilt the odds profoundly in our favor, fostering not just longevity but a vibrant, unburdened later life. 4. Dementia. Dementia casts a long shadow over the golden years, topping the list of fears for many aging Americans. Surveys from AARP reveal that 1 in 3 adults over 50 dread it more than heart disease or cancer. With projections estimating 14 million U.S. cases by 2060, per the Alzheimer's Association's 2025 report, its impact ripples far, eroding not just episodic memory but executive function, spatial awareness, and emotional regulation, often culminating in the loss of independence and straining caregivers to the tune of $360 billion annually in unpaid labor. Yet, groundbreaking insights from the Lancet Commission's 2024 update affirm that nearly 40% of dementia cases worldwide, equivalent to 12 modifiable risk factors across the lifespan, could be prevented or meaningfully delayed through targeted interventions. This isn't hyperbole. Longitudinal cohorts like the Framingham Heart Study demonstrate that addressing these factors from midlife onward can preserve up to 5 cognitive years. At its core, dementia arises from progressive neurodegeneration. Amyloid beta plaques and tau tangles in Alzheimer's, the most common form, comprising 60 to 80% of cases, disrupt synaptic signaling, while vascular dementia stems from microstrokes impairing cerebral perfusion. Other types, like Lewy body or frontotemporal, add layers of motor or behavioral disruptions. Aging accelerates this via reduced neuroplasticity and glymphatic system efficiency, but crucially, it's not inevitable. Normal senescence might mean misplacing keys occasionally, whereas dementia impairs bill paying or stove safety. Empowering prevention starts with demystifying the brain's needs. It's a dynamic organ, capable of neurogenesis even into the 80s when nourished right. The good news? Strategies are accessible, synergistic, and rooted in daily rhythms, yielding compounding returns. A 2025 meta-analysis in the BMJ linked multifaceted lifestyle adherence to a 30 to 50% risk reduction. Cognitive stimulation is your brain's gym membership. Neuroimaging shows that challenging activities thicken the prefrontal cortex and hippocampus, key memory hubs. Dive into crosswords or Sudoku for pattern recognition, learn Mandarin via Duolingo for linguistic rewiring, or master chess to hone strategic foresight. These boost cognitive reserve, a buffer against pathology. A Finnish trial, Finger Study, found that 12 months of such training, combined with other habits, stabilized cognition in at-risk seniors for 2 years. Variety is the spice. Rotate hobbies quarterly to engage dormant neural pathways, and even mundane tweaks like navigating a new city via public transit spark hippocampal growth. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 3 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Social engagement acts as a neural lifeline, countering isolation's toll. Loneliness rivals smoking's dementia risk, per a 2023 Oxford study. Meaningful interactions release oxytocin and dopamine, fortifying against atrophy, while shared narratives reinforce autobiographical memory. Join book clubs, volunteer at soup kitchens, or host virtual trivia nights. The Chicago Health and Aging Project tracked 10,000 elders and found frequent socializers had 50% lower incidence. Quality over quantity. Deep dives into others' stories build empathy circuits, and for remote loved ones, tools like FaceTime bridge gaps. In multicultural communities, bilingual conversations add a bilingual brain bonus, delaying onset by 4 to 5 years. Physical exercise is the unsung hero, pumping oxygenated blood to gray matter and spurring BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, for neuron sprouting. Aerobic pursuits like 30-minute daily walks/risk by 30%, vascular dementia especially, via enhanced collateral circulation. The Rush Memory and Aging Project linked lifelong activity to 40% fewer amyloid deposits. Tailor it: yoga for balance and stress relief, reducing cortisol's hippocampal erosion, Tai Chi for fall prevention, dementia triples fracture odds, or dance classes for rhythm-synced cognition. Pro tip: sync movement with podcasts for dual stimulation. Your stride sharpens as stories unfold. Sleep hygiene is non-negotiable. The glymphatic system flushes beta amyloid during deep non-REM phases, akin to a nightly detox. Chronic skimping, under 6 hours, elevates risk by 20 to 30%, per sleep dementia cohorts. Target 7 to 9 hours with a wind-down ritual. Dim lights at 9 p.m., sip chamomile, ban blue light. Naps. Keep them under 30 minutes to avoid grogginess. If apnea disrupts, snoring plus daytime fatigue, CPAP therapy halves progression risk. Nutritional neuroscience underscores the plate's power. The Mind Diet, Mediterranean-hybrid, emphasizes greens, spinach for folate, curbing homocysteine's toxicity, berries, anthocyanins as antioxidants, and walnuts, DHA for myelin integrity, correlating with 53% slower decline in a Rush study of 900 elders. Whole grains stabilize glucose to prevent insulin resistances, type 3 diabetes, linked to Alzheimer's. Limit ultra-processed fare, which spikes inflammation via trans fats. Hydrate with green tea. Its EGCG may inhibit tau aggregation, and consider B12 checks if vegetarian, as deficiency mimics early dementia. Cardiometabolic stewardship is foundational. Hypertension ravages vessels, 20% risk attribution, diabetes glycates proteins, 10%. So monitor via home cuffs and A1C tests. Statins or ACE inhibitors, per doc guidance, preserve flow. A 2025 VA study showed controlled BP delaying onset by 3 years. Cholesterol balance matters too. High LDL fosters plaques. Auditory health is an overlooked lever. Midlife hearing loss, if untreated, accelerates atrophy by 30% through disuse, per Johns Hopkins research. Aids amplify not just sound but engagement, preserving language centers. Get baseline audiograms at 50 and act promptly. As we wrap up this journey into the secrets of living vibrantly past 90, remember, it's not about perfection, but those small, consistent choices, like a daily walk, colorful veggies on your plate, or a moment of deep breathing, that weave a shield around your health, turning the tide against diabetes, heart disease, cancer, and dementia. You've got the blueprint now. The power to add life to your years is in your hands. What have you learned so far that resonates most with you? Drop a comment below sharing one key takeaway you're committing to practice in your daily life. Whether it's swapping soda for water, scheduling that checkup, or picking up a new puzzle to keep your mind sharp. Your story could inspire someone else watching right now. If you like this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more empowering health tips that make longevity feel achievable. See you in the next one. Here's to your healthier tomorrow.